Hello, friends. We are here for day one of our daily sadhana training, daily sadhana practice. This is something that I decided to do as a yoga teacher myself because I've transparently kind of gotten away from my own practice. When I practice lately, it's been to create my own flows for my classes. And I know that I am simply a better person. I'm a better emotional authority. I'm a better mom, better human when I am dedicated to my practice. And so it is with that spirit that we'll begin this 40-day sadhana. And I encourage you, if you'd like to follow along, to pick your own intention. And it's okay if that intention evolves over the next 40 days. It's just something that we are dedicating to. It's the thing that will get us on the mat, especially if you're joining me at 5:30 in the morning. And so I hope that wherever you are, whatever time it is that you are watching, because obviously this is being recorded, so you don't have to show up at 5:30 if that is just not something that's going to work for you. But if you are, then I would love to hang out with you and see you in the mornings. But either way, you'll get to follow along and get to watch the replays if that's something that gets you going. And I also would like to invite you at the link in my bio over on Instagram and kind of everywhere else too. There is a practice journal that goes along with this experience, just to be able to journal it out and kind of go along with this experience and reflect. That is part of what sadhana is not just kriya, like action, physical, but also is very much the mental and reflective. So we'll talk more about that over the next 40 days. And yeah, so I'm here this morning with a cup of tea and with my mat and transparency. I don't really, I don't intend on making this like super studious and very like structured and rigid. I believe that as long as we come here with the intention that we're going to breathe and move and maybe read a little bit, we're doing the yoga. So I thought that this would be the perfect day to begin our 40 days, because today is the Virgo new moon. So first, let's move a little bit, let's breathe a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Virgo new moon and specifically the gate where this new moon is being activated in our body graph. So let's begin by coming to arrive. If you're here with me, you can sit, take a comfortable seated position, or maybe you'd like to lay down on your mat. I'm not going to lay down just yet, just because I woke up about 15 minutes ago and I'm not sure that I wouldn't just completely fall asleep right there on the mat. Self-awareness, it's good. So wherever you are, in whatever way that makes you feel grounded and comfortable, we'll come to a seat or laying down, and we'll close our eyes. Closing your eyes this early in the morning is like, again, settling you down for a nice long nap. Maybe you just close to a soft gaze and your drishti is the tip of your nose. Before we change or manipulate anything, we'll take this moment to notice, how are we feeling? If you're like me, maybe you just woke up, you're feeling a little sluggish. Are you well rested? Did you toss and turn all night? It's nothing to judge, only something to witness and observe so that we can give ourselves what we need today. Maybe bringing one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Wherever you are in your breath cycle, I invite you to open your mouth and exhale completely. We'll inhale through the nose. Open mouth, sigh, let it go. We'll do that 2 more times, inhaling all the way down to the diaphragm first, filling the belly, filling the chest. Sigh it away, let it go. We'll do that one more time, taking the biggest breath you've taken all day. Sigh it away, let it go. Now we'll seal the lips, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose for Ujjayi Pranayama, our victorious breath. You'll hear a slight oceanic sound as your throat is constricted. Might sound a little bit like Darth Vader breath. Breathwork practice keeps us grounded, warms the body. I have some props here that I may or may not use. I've got a bolster, I've got my blocks. If you have yoga props at home, I would encourage you to have them, just in case. We just never know what's going to come up today. And if you're ready, we'll lie down on our backs. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, friends. Woo. Let's hug our knees into the chest. Just gently rock back and forth, drawing circles in the air with our knees, massaging out the low back. Stop and go both directions. One hand on each shin. We'll gently part the knees for a reclined child's pose. You can circle out the ankles. That feels good and inviting. Bringing both knees to center, we'll gently let them fall over toward the right. For a supine twist, our arms can come out wide into a T shape or into a cactus, allowing shoulder blades to melt into the mat. You might want to grab for a block and place it between the knees if that helps to open up space in your hips and low back. We'll take one more full inhale and exhale here. And we'll gently let our knees fall over to the other side for a supine twist, keeping shoulder blades melted onto the mat. Your gaze can go toward the ceiling or off in the other direction. We'll come back to center. We'll lose the block. Holding our right knee with both hands, we'll extend our left leg long. Just opening up the hip flexor on the left side. And we'll switch it out. Hugging both knees into the chest, we'll gently rock back and forth, back and forth. We'll meet standing. Now, because this is morning sadhana and not an hour-long power hour, we're just going to take a couple of sun A's, and then we'll meet back here on the mat so that we can talk about the Virgo new moon, set our intentions, and then maybe pull a card from our oracle deck. Okay. So we'll start standing at the top of our mat. Your feet can be hip-width distance or big toes touch. On our inhale, we'll sweep hands to the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center, we'll hold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, our hands will plant. We'll step our feet back to our high plank position. On an inhale, we'll shift forward. Shift forward, bend at the elbows, chaturanga. We'll untuck the toes and press up for upward facing. We'll retuck the toes, press hips up and back, down dog. We'll take 2 more sun A's and then we'll take it to the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. We'll rise tall, sweep hands to the sky, and exhale, hands to heart center and fold. Inhale halfway, and we'll move through our vinyasa. Chaturanga, up dog, and down dog. We'll take 1 more. Inhale halfway, exhale, fold. We'll come up. We'll take it all the way down. 1 more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We'll step back and flow through a vinyasa. All right. From our third down dog, we'll come to a seated position. Nice. Thanks for flowing it out with me. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the Virgo new moon and what exactly we should set our intentions upon. In the Yoga Sutras, something that was very heartening to me was reading this phrase, and I'm not going to quote it exactly because I don't have it in front of me. But it essentially says that, like, if you are seeking enlightenment, you're already close. And if you are seeking enlightenment with zeal, it's whatever we intend ourselves upon that we are going to be yoked to. So with that intention, I would love for you to be able to create some Virgo new moon intentions for this sadhana. I say, I talk to a lot of people about yoga, obviously. Hello, who am I? What are we doing here? I hear a lot of like, I can't go to yoga because I'll do it wrong. Or I can't go to yoga because I'm afraid of other people looking at me. I'm afraid of other people judging me. I'm afraid of other people doing it wrong. Or I'm afraid I'm doing it wrong. And then when you're a yogi, you're like a yoga, you go to your yoga teacher training, then it becomes this game of like, oh, I can't go to yoga because then I'm just like critiquing everybody, or I can't go to yoga because I can't focus. I want to correct this person's posture or whatever. And I say it all the time, you don't even have to move. Your yoga practice will change over time. As we get old, our yoga practice will look very different than it did in our 20s or in our 30s. Even now, my practice looks so much different than it did, 10, 12 years ago when I was in my 20s. So with that in mind, what is yoga? You could be laying here and breathing and doing the yoga. Right now, we're here, we're talking about, philosophy, we're talking about the state of being, we're talking about that we are doing yoga right now. And so that's something that I am very passionate about helping people to understand as well, is that we could be taking all kinds of shapes and postures on the mat, but if we are not here, if we're not breathing, if we're thinking about what the person next to us is doing, if we're worried about what the people 2 rows back are thinking about us, we're not doing yoga. Okay, so that is very much the energy that I want to bring to this sadhana experience, is not just movement, but the whole package. We're going to breathe together, we're going to learn a little bit, and whatever it is that we're intending upon. So with the Virgo new moon today, let's talk a little bit about Virgo. Virgo is one of those earth signs, or one of the earth signs, and it's one of those signs that I feel like it's kind of a misleading or bad reputation a little bit. Virgo is sometimes categorized as cold or uncaring or a little like calculated. Now, this is because the sign of Virgo deals with organization, calculations, math a little bit, right? I can understand why people might have that perception of Virgo, My favorite analogy for Virgo is that of the nurse, right? Because the nurse is unlike a mother, right? Where I will like, oh, my sweet child, to my daughter. A nurse is going to be like, okay, hold still, here's the medicine, here's the thing. It's a little less warm, maybe, right? A little less, cancer kind of nurturing. We're doing this because we care. We're doing this because we love you. Just like deal with it. That's that's Virgo. And so with the new moon being in Virgo, we are here to rededicate or maybe to dedicate ourselves to what we need to feel organized, what we need to feel prepared and ready to take on our day. Mercury retrograde ends tomorrow, and it has also been in Virgo. And so this is a really interesting time for us to decide to rededicate to our intentions or to create new intentions altogether. Now, to take it a step further, not only do we have a new moon in Virgo, but as we incorporate human design or the gene keys in here, we can take a look at where exactly, each sign is broken up into like 5 gates. And so you can look at the transits and see, okay, sure, we've got our new moon in Virgo, but where specifically is this? So this is going to be in gate 47 in our body graph. The gift of gate 47 is transmutation. Transmutation, of course, is change. It is alchemizing. It is taking the shadow of oppression, the shadow of pain, the shadow of experiencing something that's not so great, and taking that experience so that we can grow through it, so we can grow from it, so we can become a better, more evolved being from it. I cannot tell you how many people, I personally have never been able to dedicate myself to any other kind of practice. I love yoga for so many reasons. I didn't necessarily I'm not like, yeah, gym girl, I'm not the girly that wants to work out or move my body, or like, that's just not like something that I find super fun. Right. Some people just love that shit, and that's, what gets them there. What the discomfort that we face, whether that's on the mat, off the mat, whatever, that discomfort that we face is the oppression, right? How do we, and this is a very baseline, basic, like non-traumatic, sort of example that I'm leading with here. But we're taking this relatively uncomfortable, this relatively painful even experience, even like you see people at the gym, let's take that example, people lifting, and it sounds uncomfortable. They're grunting and, they're yelling and they're throwing things. And it seems like this is something that is a physical challenge for the body. Oppression is challenge. It is. So I had a couple of things that I highlighted in the Gene Keys book here. And this is not the Gene Keys book, actually. I take that back. This is the 64 Ways. This is like a verbal transmission of the Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. So Gene Key 47, Gate 47, the way we face adversity gracefully is through owning it rather than denying it or deflecting it. This is the basis of the Enrich formula, by the way, y'all. Creating a process of self-awareness so that we can take ownership of our own side of things. Whatever it is that we're dealing with, we are at least in part kind of responsible for it. And so it's not just like, oh, it's all my fault, and like, taking it on like a martyr. It's having some self-awareness of I'm in this situation, or this is where I am. I'm the only one that can do anything about it. I'm the only one that can decide to change my circumstances. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that by denying or deflecting the reality of what's going on. I have to do something to actually fix it, right? When we turn inwards and meet it being our shadows, right, as a seed before it externalizes, then our awareness can disable and transmute it before it manifests. Y'all, that is the yoga. That is the yoga. Okay, I'm going to say it again. When we turn inward and meet our pain as a seed before it externalizes, then our awareness can disable and transmute it before it manifests. That is why we get on the mat. That is why we yoga. In the original text, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, there is only reference to one posture. We're in it, a comfortable seat. But how long can you sit like this before your body is like, ow, my hip, ow, my shoulder, ow, my this, oh, this is uncomfortable. When can we get up? I see it every day when I teach a class and people start to get antsy in their shavasana at the very end of our practice. We're supposed to be laying still or sitting still or, soaking up stillness. And there's all kinds of shifting around and moving around, and stillness is uncomfortable. The stillness part of the practice is usually the most challenging part of the experience, even if I've thrown in arm balances and all kinds of stuff in the movement part. We as a society do not like being still. We do not like having the time to reflect, look at ourselves, because there's so much here. When we get on the mat and we do it with intention, we do it like not thinking about, and here's the thing, you're not going to be able to control when you have the thought of the person next to you, or when you have the thought of, oh my gosh, am I doing this right? Or, oh my gosh, I suck at this, or any of the other thoughts that pop up in your head. We're not actually in control of, and we don't know where they come from, the thoughts that pop up in our mind. What yoga helps us to do is to give us the space to say, or to be able to observe those thoughts as they arise, and to be able to nip them right where they are as a seed, so that we're not allowing our mind to run amok and create these fantastical stories, whether they're positive or negative, around our existence. Transmutation is an ongoing process. Many small breakthroughs lead to bigger breakthroughs as more and more trapped, oppressed light gets released from within our DNA. And so what this is saying is that you will rise. And when you rise, you will come to a plane of, okay, well, great. Wow, everything. I'm so glad I learned that lesson. I'm so glad that I've, how many times have you been there? You're like, whew, that was a tough lesson. That was a whole thing. And then time goes, and all of a sudden you're finding you're like stuck in the mud again. You're like, fuck, I've gotta go back and, take a look at myself. I've gotta get into therapy. I've got to start my journaling. I've got to get back to my yoga practice, whatever that means to you. Okay. And so, that's where the work again begins. It's like we're in a series of, we grow and then we plateau, and then hopefully if we're open to it, we'll grow some more. Y'all, that's all that we're here for as humans. Like, all we're here for is to grow. And so it's, my invitation to come along on this journey, to grow, and just see what the next 40 days holds for you. Like I said, there is a journal at the link in my bio. I encourage you, it's donation based. So if you don't want to pay for it, like, don't worry about it. It's going to be just fine. You can download it, and it's a digital journal that you can fill in throughout our 40 days and be able to follow along and go back and reflect and see, well, what was my initial intention? What did I intend upon? What did I learn? How did I grow through these 40 days? What was it that I came awareness to, or what awareness came to me while I'm in my movement, while I'm in my breath? What happened when I was listening to this particular song? What happened when I was listening to this particular frequency? All kinds of different things that we might be able to reflect on here. But mostly what I would love for you to do today is to focus on what it is that we would like to transmute. Where are you feeling oppressed? Where are you feeling like things are really hard, like we're trying way too hard, and like things are just kind of coming up against you? Where are we feeling hurt? Where are we feeling trapped? Where are we feeling like things are just against us? Okay, because that is what we'd like to pay attention to and transmute. Okay, because that is an illusion. You are not trapped. Okay, there is nothing that is going to keep you from growth if that is what you'd like to intend yourself upon. Okay, the more that we deny, deflect, you're not going to be able to fix anything if you are in denial and you're just deciding, oh, no, that's not a problem. How are we going to fix it? How are we going to go through that? How are we going to overcome if we're not willing to take a look at it? Right? Or if we are just frantically running through our lives and we are unwilling, unable, incapable of being able to take any ownership, right? Denial and what was the other word that he used in here? Oh, I don't remember. It's on the website. Anyway, but right through denial and just like la 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 la, nope, everything's great. It's either I am completely stuck like this, and like this is just, oh, I hate just this is the way things are. Just this is, I have no control over this, and you know, oh, that sort of energy. It's not doing anything for us. Okay, so where do you feel trapped? Where do you feel oppressed? Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel like you've hit a plateau and you'd like to see some change, some growth? Okay. So I just pulled a card for us, for me, for us, and so funny. I had this card like sitting on top of the deck before we started, and then I turned it over, put it in the deck, shuffled it out. You know, you were here for that. And then we ended up pulling this card anyway. So the card we pulled is Tantra. It's the balance of masculine and feminine. We are expanding into liberation, Tantra, moving past the dualistic mind that judges everything as right or wrong. You are headed to the greater truth that comes from integration. The structured masculine and flowing feminine within you are merging, allowing you to move toward infinite consciousness. The mature masculine within you creates presence, focus, stillness, and determination. The mature feminine within you results in creativity, flow, movement, sensuality, and nurturing. Both genders require a balance of these two energies. Continue to invite all aspects of yourself, your light, your shadows, your Shakti, your Shiva, your cognition, your intuition. I mean, how very Virgo new moon. How very first day in our 40-day sadhana. Y'all, what a blessing. What a blessing it is to be here, to be alive and to breathe today with you. And so we'll be here for the next 40 days. If you would like to come along on the journey, I would love to have you here. If you'd like to come live, you know where we'll be here over on Instagram. I'll also have the replay up on Instagram. And I'm debating whether or not it should go on YouTube or my Substack. So we'll see. Maybe you're there already and you're like, yep, you decided that we were doing that. So sage for you this morning. Some sage for you this morning. Some sage for me this morning. And again, the journal is at the link in my bio. If you'd like to journal, that is what I'm going to do. You know, for what it's worth, when I complete the movement part of the practice and we stop going live and, you know, we're done with this, I intend to go straight into my journaling practice and then see what the rest of the day holds. So I'll see you here tomorrow for day 2 of our sadhana. I thank you so much for joining me. Happy Virgo new moon, happy intention setting, and until next time, Om Shanti, 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 Om. Peace, peace, peace. See you next time. Bye, friends.